Hello, good morning. Doing the probably the first time done like right in the morning. Just gonna try it out. Got my coffee here. We're gonna talk about continuing to plagiarize Carl Jung, but again, all my videos, spitballing. It's as authentic as I can be. I have little notes. So I'm trying to find that balance between, if it's just mush mouth, complete jibber jabber, and doesn't really go anywhere. It can sometimes be, it can sometimes work out, but a lot of times it doesn't. So I'm trying to find a medium between, the inspiration. Full disclosure for this video is because of AI, and that Carl Jung AI just nails it. So I want to like kind of bridge the gap before we get taken over by Skynet. No, anyway, but yeah. So let's talk about just like 2 minutes in this video, I was listening to this morning, just the anima animus. That's what I'm talking about in this video. That's what we're gonna talk about in this video. If that's a topic you like, stay tuned because it's gonna get kind of, it's gonna be I should have like a deepness meter. I don't know. That's how I look at things. Like talk about just like the weather. We're at a 0. We're at like afterlife. We're at a 10. So I maybe put this one around a 7. I've made videos about this previously, and the way I would put it, again, I'd probably plagiarizing Peterson, talking about temperament, and it became very clear to me, and just almost infuriatingly clear to me that, and again, I have to preface this. This can be very sensitive for people, and sometimes I don't care about that. Sometimes I do. In this case, I do because it is very like, at least maybe tomorrow I'll be an insensitive bastard about this topic. But right now, like to preface it with like I'm pretty extreme guy, and I feel like the extremes are where like for me historically I would find truth, seeking out the bullshit at the extremes. And having said that, when I talk about certain topics, I do tend to sometimes hyperbolize things. People can do whatever they want. That's kind of the point too. And that anytime I'm talking about any subject, it's always, shut the, God, this spam's getting real. It's always about, it's always about freedom of expression, freedom of freedom of expression at the end of the day, and not, as long as it doesn't get in the way of other people's freedom of expression. Like that's the whole problem with us as people, right? But anyway, so we're talking about like gender identity, this kind of stuff, and previously I would talk. So I look at this in layers. I previously would talk about just the conflation between gender identity and temperament, i.e., when people talk about they're trans, it's like you can check a lot of boxes of the opposite gender for that traditional role, and it's like I don't see any way around, and this is where there's controversy. I don't find it controversial. I think people are sick. I think the fact that normalizing sickness is sickness. It's just sick. It's actually abusive. So I'm kind of going on a, putting my neck out a little bit. Whatever. I don't think so. It's like freaking people, World War II. I'm not not put my neck out. Who cares? But yeah, putting the flag up, Iwo Jima was that Norman Donald joke. Anyway, ADHD. I would talk about the conflation of those things, right? So, for example, a man who is very sensitive and maybe has long hair and very emotional and you know they get along with women really well. They kind of feel like one of the girl, like, you know, historically, and then they're that woman. I'm sorry, that man. And this is typical. Like a man will be very feminine and will change gender to be a woman, change gender, and it's like, and I am a man. This is where it gets so confusing because if I'm talking as a man, as a woman, as a blah, 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 like George Carlin said, life is not that complicated. You get up, you go to work, you take one good shit, and you go back to bed. What's the fucking mystery? It just came up in my brain, but so I'm gonna weave back. I'm gonna try and weave back during this. This is an experiment, by the way. I'm experimenting with morning. We're gonna get to the point. We're gonna get there. Promise. So, a man wants to be a woman. That's it's typical. Although I would argue that often a man doing that and then not being with a woman, well, man, see, this is why I get so confused. Even like, as I know people that they switch, they identify as different genders, but they're biologically male and female. So it's a heterosexual relationship. It's like that is role playing. I don't know. So anyway, I'm gonna try and stay on an actual, because this is the thing, is I'm pretty open minded, and I've gone down my own, I've basically done it all, and like I just I don't bullshit myself though. I don't know. There's a lot of like this, and this is the point of the video, is like mental illness versus freedom, and I would talk about the temperamental differences, how that again, that conflation of like you having, for example, like, I shouldn't have gone down that road. Real quick, the example of a more simple example. Apparently, it's like men we're more alike than different temperamentally. Although that's a whole different thing, is how it manifests. But that's maybe we'll get there. This is an infinitely long topic. I didn't realize. Disagreeableness versus agreeableness. Like, if you're being honest, more men. You take 100 women, 100 men. You're gonna have 60 of those women be more agreeable, and 40 being disagreeable, and then with men you're gonna have the opposite, 60% disagreeable. And again, how that manifests, and this is the whole. I'll get there later. That is one thing, right? Like, so an agreeable man, I would argue, like maybe has a better chance at. That's not true. Agreeable man, then all the other things that add up to like very traditionally feminine characteristics might be more inclined to be like, I'm a woman. It's like, here's the point of the video. We got there at 8:43. That's layer 1, temperament. And this is the second layer. Jung, his idea is, he's unbelievable. And I think the second layer, deeper layer, the unconscious, he's very big on that. And the anima. So real quick, anima. And if I fuck this up, sorry, but we don't have to get too specific about. But anima, the male, so me, my integration with my feminine, unconscious feminine. Animus, a female, integrated with integration or lack thereof of their unconscious male. So we all have that. There are two genders. And that if the integration, if it's not properly integrated, i.e. you haven't integrated it. That's doing the work, having wounds healed, whatever it is, integration. That can manifest, for example, a male's anima can manifest into neediness, the way they look at the opposite sex as like a that the way they look at the opposite sex is, let's say, a neediness and like clinginess and a just an unhealthy feminine side. Integrated properly, it's a man who can be in tune with his emotions and healthy, transparent, balanced, right? And then on the other side, the animus, the female, who hasn't integrated their animus, which is the male unconscious, is manifests in anger and hostility and these type of things. And this is really the point of the video. It's just like, that blew my mind, because that is the problem with Western society now. That might have been the fatal error of Western society. That might be a little. I think that really can lead to the end, like that, because it's insanity. We have to get along, of course, obviously, but if we can't even like. This video is gonna make me lose my mind. This is too real. It's just it's upsetting. Like it's so paradoxical. This is gonna be doom scrolly officially. I guess my coffee hasn't kicked in. But it's real, guys. We're doing it live, motherfucker. We're doing it live. So paradoxical, and I'll speak anecdotally and personally and whatever. It's gonna be real about it. It's paradoxical because I think about women and their unintegrated animus. I picture servers, bartenders, historically, not integrated animus type ladies. But there's so many more women now that are completely insecure, and let me rephrase that. Women that are completely they have no confidence in our ability to lead them. Why ever could that be? Oh, that's going to be, I'm glad you asked. Well, that's going to be because our anima is effed. So clinginess, simpery, I've talked about that in other videos, is it's the stripper patron paradigm, archetype, workflow, whatever word there is in there, at scale is what's going on. That's why I had that video, Simps Destroyed Society. It's true. And women hate us for that. They want the money and they're like, I hate you. That's the reason. They don't know it. That's the reason. They don't go, oh, thank you. It's, you gave me money for my body, whatever it is, for my feminine, my essentially masculine feminine, because a woman who does that is exhibiting male. That's my opinion. It's not. I don't think it's an opinion. That's the animus. And then it's unbalanced. It's paradoxical, It needs to stop. Lecture video now. I'm going to lecture you. Go all over the board. That's why I always like start with always go like it starts with men. Things are constantly changing, but I was always harping on men when men would do the red pill, whatever pill, when you're like a MGTOW, blah, and I'm like, you just got to work harder. Don't be a little pussy. And I changed my tune with that. There is greater forces than just that, although that's not an excuse to not try, of course. But having said that, I would say that the problem starts with men, but it starts with both of us. That's what's beautiful about this this opportunity, you know? When things are really, really bad, it makes the good so much better. I just went a whole different route, but it's true. So we've effed up society, right? That's why you're in this video. If you're still watching, that's why you're in this video. Trying to not feel alone. We effed up our society. How do you navigate this world? Who the hell am I? What am I like? What the hell is going on with people? Yeah. It just takes, so cliche. It just takes one, you know, and that's, it's so profound. Jung, and this is the beauty of, I have so much to say all at once. It sucks. Damn it. The way Jung influenced Peterson influenced me. Not that I'm anything compared to them. I'm not comparing myself. I guess I just did. But like the point is that you hear something, it spirals outward. You know, Jung talks about the collective unconscious. Peterson talks about things spiral outwards. You don't know the implications of one thing you do. It's so powerful. It's so true. So it's a choice. And maybe the coffee kicked in now. I'm getting optimistic about people. But I love underdogs. I love it. I love that. Even maybe it's like a dopamine addict thing, but regardless, I love, even when I was gaming, I'd play like, I wouldn't try, or just, somehow I'd always be behind because I just love coming back. Poker, same thing. I like F something up. My life, same thing. It's not good, but you do learn. And it feels pretty good when things are really, really bad, because they all can go up. They can go down. You could pay the ultimate price, but it makes the comeback so much more fun. Anyway, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. This is an experiment. Morning, just woke up. Yeah. If you're still watching, appreciate you coming in here. And going through this experiment with me. Carl Jung. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, back to seriousness. Collective unconscious, shadow work, projection, blah, words, sound smart, make viewers watch longer. I'm trying to sound smart. Yeah. So, anima, animus, temperament, and gender. I don't even know what the, yeah, there's male and female, and then it's like, yeah, like I'm totally fucked with my anima. Yeah, that's the thing, and I don't know. I guess I don't have the balls, nor do I like know the actual what you can actually talk about on YouTube. Like I have so much to say about actual sexuality, as far as and like you know, because I think about that, like anima animus, and it's like you like what you like, and then like for example, I like tomboys a lot. I always like lesbians for some reason. I like more like that type of woman. And that's deep. And the difference between there's a healthy way and an unhealthy way. There's a fine line between or a gray area. I always mess up what the difference is, but like yeah, it's a gray area of healthy, you know, whether it's eroticized rage, whether it's you get into like some, you know, kinky stuff, it's like I don't know. I think it's there's sane ways to do things and there's insane ways, and acting out trauma is not healthy. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about anymore. Um, Carl Jung is flipping over in his grave. Some guy with a coffee, shitty lighting, talking about nonsense, using his name in a video. But I don't even know if I can post this. This is kind of an embarrassing video. This is so bad. But we'll post it anyway. I don't care. And gap in my tooth. I hate it. I'm gonna end the video here. Maybe we'll try again when the coffee kicks in. I'm gonna take a nap. Sorry guys, this video sucked. We'll try again later. Bye.